Tired of everyone telling you to find your passion, but no one telling you how? Welcome to the Korean Connection, and I'm your host, Korean, an attorney with a passion for empowering others to use their many talents and skills towards a path of self-discovery and alignment. Join me as I share my personal stories, professional insights, and practical tips, and how you can connect the dots between what you're great at and turning your passions into purpose. Let's connect. Push it to the left, make it go no more. Make it like no, I'm coming back home. I'm trying to roll all of my you. I'ma be the greatest, write my name in the stone. Write my name in the stone. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Write my name in the stone. Cause I'm coming back home. Cause I'm coming back home. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Korean Connection. Today, I have a very important guest. Her name is Miss Jessica Parris.
Hello.
And she's here to tell us about her passions and how she connects them to purpose. Jessica, how are you?
I'm awesome.
Jessica, tell us a little bit about yourself. You can start off with what is your passion?
Okay. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Just like Corrine said, I am Jessica Parris. One of my main passions is dance. I've been dancing since I was 5 years old. I went to a performing arts school in Maryland, and that's how I got introduced to dance in a formal manner. My mom said when I was younger, when I was little, I always was dancing in the house, of course. But when I went to Thomas Pullen, that's when I got introduced to formal dance, and that's one of my main passions. That's my biggest. I feel like that's my biggest passion.
What genre of dance do you specialize in a particular genre or?
So it's pretty vast because my school introduced me to so many different styles. We took ballet, we had jazz, we also had an African dance teacher. In middle school, I went to Palmer Park Community Center, and I took dance there outside of school. So I also took tap, I took modern, I took hip hop. So I know how to do all of those. I also know how to teach all of those. And my favorite style would definitely be African dance.
Oh, wow. I was just going to ask that. How did you get into the teaching of it, though? Did you have to go to formal schooling in order to teach, or you just did it based on your common knowledge of being a dancer yourself?
So when I was in college, I minored in dance.
Okay.
So I have that skill set, and then I also dance semi-professionally. So after I graduated undergrad and I also graduated from grad school, I taught part-time at a preschool. So we had an after-school program where the middle schoolers came over, and they did after-school program, and that's where I actually started. I started teaching dance part-time there, and then after that, I started teaching. I started freelancing.
Yeah. So your passion for dance just kind of been ingrained in you. It's not something that you had to go seeking for. Would that be right?
Yeah.
And then how did you sustain that, like throughout your childhood, like in terms of like maintaining that interest?
So I feel like when it's a passion, it's just something that it just drives you. It's something that's always calling out. It's something that you just always yearn for. Like me and my god sister, when we would see each other, we would go straight to the basement and make up dances. We'd be choreographing like we had a show to do. One of my friends, she used to walk to my house and she'd be like, "Girl, we about to make up these dances." And who are we teaching them to? Nobody.
Yeah.
We would just make them up just for the fun of it. Like,
yeah.
And that's how you know it's a passion. At recess, we go up to the top of the hill in the playground and just make up dances. So
where's that friend now? Is that friend?
She still dances.
Oh, nice.
She
That's
still
awesome.
dances. Yep.
And you guys obviously keep in contact.
Yep.
In choosing your passion, not in choosing your passion, but even though you had this passion for dance, it's not always easy to pursue your passion. So how can you just tell us a little bit about your journey as how you went about pursuing your passions, or were there any impediments to doing that? Because I know sometimes costs, resources, opportunity, even though the passion may dwell within you, how do you bring that to fruition? How were you able to do that throughout your childhood up until adulthood?
So my story it has a whole bunch of ups, downs, dips, turns, and even the reason why I'm here in New York. So I was born in New York, but I grew up in Maryland. had undergrad in Maryland, did grad school, and then when I got out, it was what was it? It was like the economic crash, whatever was going on
recession.
at that time. There were no jobs.
Right.
So I did a part-time job at this preschool. And then that's where I worked with the after-school kids.
Okay.
And I taught dance there. One day when I was out shopping, a lady came up to me and she was like, oh, are you a model? This, that, and the third. I was like, no. She said, oh, are you into fashion? Like, no. Then she started telling me about her job. She worked as a manufacturer, and I never knew anything about the fashion world outside of, okay, I know there's people who design clothes, and I know there's models. So long story short, I interviewed for a job, moved up to New York thinking I wanted to get into fashion. So I did fashion styling for a while. But when you start out something, it's not paying the bills.
Right.
And I was living on my own. So I knew I had this passion and love for dance. And I started going to the Theater Young Community Center and taking dance class. And someone saw me dancing and asked, do I want to teach dance? So from there, I started freelancing.
Why did you make the intentional step to take a dance class as opposed to just applying for a job to teach a class? Because obviously you had all the qualifications at that point. Why did you decide to go that route?
Because I thought it was just like the passion in me. I know I wanted to take class. And when I'm not dancing, I don't feel like something's missing. If I'm not around dance, if I'm not dancing, if I'm not teaching dance, like something is just off. And that's how powerful I think that your passion and purpose is, that if you're not fulfilling it, it's going to always be crying out and yearning inside of you. And you're going to always feel like something is missing.
Right.
So when I moved up here, although I was grinding, trying to get into the fashion world, it was a piece of me that said, okay, I need my dance classes. I need it.
You need to get moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I knew the center because I used to come up here over the summers with my grandma, and I used to attend the community center to go to the summer camp there. So that's what I was familiar with. That's what I knew. So I went, took classes there, and then it turned into, I started teaching. And then I started looking for other dance jobs. And then I was still doing the fashion styling, but I was freelancing, and I was everywhere. I was all over Westchester, teaching here, there,
a jack
everywhere,
of all
girl.
trades like myself here. No, you kind of glazed over the fact that you dance professionally. Like, tell us a little bit about that, because that have like a whole alternate meaning nowadays when someone say they dance professionally.
Right. So I do have to clear that up. If I say I'm a dancer, I don't even say like I'm a dancer. I have to say it a specific way because people just assume like, oh, you're a stripper or you're an exotic dancer.
Right.
So I dance semi-professionally. So there were a few dance teams that I was a part of, and I was a sideline dancer. So the girls that dance on the side at the basketball games and the football games, that's what I did. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I did that, and then I also was in a few musicals.
Okay,
So
what
as an
musicals,
adult.
if you don't mind naming them?
So it wasn't on Broadway, but this was back in Maryland, and it was a company. So we did The Color Purple, we did Guys and Dolls. This was a while ago.
If people
those are the two I remember.
If people want to look you up and see you in action, how can they even see those videos of you dancing? Do they even exist anymore?
So the musicals, we don't have that video. But the videos of me doing the semi-pro dance, it is on YouTube. Can I even remember the name of the team? If it comes to me, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
But those videos are up on YouTube because it's on the dance team's page.
Website. Yeah. That's awesome. And so you said that someone approached you and asked you if you'd be interested in teaching dance, and that's how that sort of started.
Yep.
So dancing is your passion, but what do you think your purpose is when it comes to your passion? What is the drive behind it?
So I think the bigger purpose is to really uplift and inspire and I don't just have girls. I usually mostly have girls, but I think it's to uplift and inspire the students that I have in the class. I do gear towards or gravitate towards the girls because I'm more passionate about helping, and I obviously I was a girl, so I know the things that we go through. But I think the bigger purpose is to really build their self-esteem, to make them feel powerful, to make them feel strong, to feel that they have the power over their body and they can express themselves. And
why was that important to you? Is there a struggle story behind that? That why that's like one of the main points that you're pushing for, your brand?
I think it's a very important thing that girls need to have. You have to have a strong sense of self.
Yes.
So that you can know who you are and that the world won't pull you any other way.
Yeah.
And in my brand is called I Am She the Brand. And she is not just a word. She has a meaning behind it. So when you say I am she, you're saying I'm a powerful woman, I'm a queen, I'm a goddess. I'm all that I knew I was before the world told me I was not. And that last line, all that I knew I was, that's you knowing who you truly are. And I think that's so important for everyone, but specifically our girls. Before the world told me I was not. The world is everybody and everything on the outside of you. So if you are so strong with knowing who you are and what you're supposed to be doing, nobody, not your friends, not your family, not the social media, not anything on the outside can shake you, whether they're telling you something good or bad.
Does that come through in your dancing that you teach these girls? So how do you try to showcase that in this type of movements that you give them? How do they portray that in the dance that you teach?
So I feel like I try to portray that with my words. It might not be specifically that each move is, this is a powerful movement or it's an uplifting thing. But I try to instill those qualities and traits in them in class.
Yeah. What way? How?
So there was a time when we went to perform at the Westchester Knicks. So my girls got invited to perform at the halftime. So they were the halftime entertainment.
What is the name of your girls, by the way? What's the name of your team?
So they are the TDYCC Falcons dance team. And they actually just won first place.
Oh, wow.
When we went to competition.
When?
Just now. When did we go? In March.
Oh, wow.
2025. Just went. So they won in the hip hop category.
Oh, wow.
And that dance, each of my dances do always have a meaning. And that particular dance, they were performing at the halftime show, and it was called Cowgirl Queens. And at the beginning of the dance, I got a clip from, and I forget the young lady's name, but she was the first Black cowgirl queen down south. I can't remember the name of the state, but I saw one of her interviews, and she said that she got into being a cowgirl, doing the rodeo type of things because someone put her in it after she had a experience, and they were telling her that if you can tame this however many pound animal, you can handle anything in life. So that's the meaning behind that dance. And when we got to the arena, we're running the dance, and I'm like, I could see something was off. I'm like, why y'all moving like this? And I said, are y'all nervous? And I'm like, what y'all nervous for? Like, they invited y'all here. Y'all supposed to be here. So you're going to get on the floor. Y'all know the meaning of the dance, and y'all going to show out.
Right.
And when I told them that, they did what they needed to do.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely something empowering about just the movement of your own body or just being in control of your own body. I mean, that's like, that's metaphorically what you need to do in life, right? Just be able to exercise self-control and to be able to do that in an intentional way that resonates certain emotions within people. So if, I can just imagine if you, as a person who's wants to personify strength and, courage and beauty in these young women, I'm sure I can just imagine that the movements that they do certainly reflects that.
Yes,
that's amazing. Sure. And then if people wanted to see your girls perform, is it like publicized anywhere?
So we perform at various places. It's usually, they usually promote it within the community center.
And this is the Westchester Community Center?
The Theodore Young Community Center. It's in Greenburgh, New York. So usually things get promoted within. They do have a social media. This year we're speaking of getting someone to help us have a social media just for the team, so that we can promote.
Right.
This is going on year 4, so we're new. So each year we're learning a little bit more.
Right.
And we definitely want to have a social media just for us so that we can promo.
And what is the age range for these girls that you're empowering?
My babies, they are from 11 to 17.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. And how do you promote? Like, do you promote at all? Is word of mouth mostly?
So it's a little bit of both. Word of mouth. My girls, I tell them if you have dance friends, bring your dance friends for the audition. We have flyers. We have postcards. They put it up on the website for the community center.
And what is is this costly? Is this affordable for families? What is is that something that after consultation they have to deal with in terms of pricing, or is there like a flat rate for these young girls to participate?
So that's a great question, because I created this dance team because when I was in school, as I said, it was something that I always yearned for. But it got to a point where my mom had to bring me out. My mom was a single mom. It was myself and my brother. She had to pull me out of dance because it got too costly for her.
Yeah.
And that crushed me. And looking back, I realized why it crushed me so much. So when I because it's part of my purpose.
Yeah.
So when I didn't have dance, it literally felt like, well, what's the point? But I didn't understand that. I just remember feeling like, why am I here?
Right. And did you communicate that to your mom? Just curious, like how
Not
you're
until
feeling.
Later.
Yeah.
I because she also didn't tell me why, so I just was upset.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just upset, and then I as an adult I expressed it, and then she told me why, and I was like, oh. And I don't want anybody who is interested in dance for that to be something that holds them back.
Yeah.
So when I made the dance team, I talked to my supervisor and I said, look, I want a dance team, but the price has to be low.
Yeah.
And in order to keep it low, we fundraise. Because I don't want the money to be the thing that holds them back from something so beautiful.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. And so how often do you meet with these girls? Where they, to practice? So
it's Monday and Tuesday, and when we first started out, it was only an hour each day. But now we have 2 hours each day. So we have a choreography day, and then we have a technique day.
Oh, wow.
And I tell the girls all the time, we only meet for 4 hours a week. The girls who they compete against, a lot of times they're practicing for 4 hours a day.
Right.
And they're in the studios 5 times a week.
Right.
And they also go home and they practice. Some of them have one-on-ones with a teacher themselves or some type of special instructor.
It's a pretty competitive sport.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've seen like the dance moms, stuff on TV, and it's no joke.
It's no joke.
Yeah.
So I tell them, y'all, when you come to class, that's to show me what you have worked on, because I'm teaching you things. But when you go home, this is your homework. You need to perfect it when you get home. You need to work, so that when you come to class, I can see like, oh, you've been stretching, you've been working, you've been doing what you need to do.
Yeah. And so you're not only empowering young girls, but you're also empowering women through dance. Can you just tell us a little bit about how you go ahead and empower women in our community? So
the sister brand to my I Am She brand is called Sexy She. So the mother is I Am She the brand, and then the sister is Sexy She. So it's the same empowerment, but the focus is a little bit more towards how do you feel sexy, feeling sexy within your own skin.
Yeah. Do you find that that's hard for a lot of women to be sexy in their own skin?
To feel sexy, yes. So every Saturday I always put up the question in my social media saying, okay, it's Sexy Saturdays. What did you do today to feel sexy? And I think that a lot of women might think like, oh, I have to put on lingerie, or I have to put on this, or I have to do this, or I have to look like this to feel sexy.
Right.
And that's not the case. Maybe you sitting on your balcony and sipping your favorite beverage might make you feel sexy.
Right.
Maybe taking a break and doing your nails might make you feel sexy. Maybe slipping on your favorite robe might make you feel sexy. Whatever it is. Maybe cooking might make you feel sexy. You never know. But you have to figure out what makes you feel empowered, what makes you feel sexy, and why it makes you feel sexy.
Why did you choose sexiness as a part of the empowerment movement as opposed to something else?
Because I feel like people put sexy with sex.
Right.
And make it like it has like negative connotation.
Right.
When it's to me, it's two separate things. Like, just because
Yes.
it's sexy doesn't mean that it has to correlate with sex.
Yeah, like to me, sexy it just means self-confidence. You know, when a woman, what makes a woman sexy for me is just how confident she is. Now, someone can be, just at a glance just beautiful, right? But I think sexy brings a different vibe. And you have to exude something from within in order for it to be classified as sexy. I think that's super important, and it's actually surprising to me that not a lot of women know how to even be sexy, because it takes it takes a confidence, number one, that sometimes they just don't possess. So it kind of it highlights that, number one, and then it also takes a bit of comfort within yourself in order to do the movements to feel sexy.
Right.
So in your experience in doing these sexy classes, to what extent do you have to kind of work to get these women to even feel comfortable enough to even move?
So when I first started with the sexy dance classes, I started with them virtually.
Yeah.
It started right after COVID, so I did things virtually, and more women came to that. When I tried to bring it in person, everybody was like,
"Ooh, nobody want to do the sexy in public."
Nobody wanted to do it in person. So I said, okay, I can meet y'all halfway. So I did a pre-recorded video. A few people got that. And then I got my brain thinking, like, okay, what else can I bring? Women also need to stretch, because stretching really can save your life. Everybody needs to stretch.
Oh my God. You're not... Okay, yeah, we'll talk afterwards.
So I created a sexy stretch class.
Yeah.
And I had about 10 women rotating who came to that. And that was really good. We did it for a few months. And then, a few things happened. We had the holidays. My girls had their competition. But I plan on bringing that back in the summertime.
Yeah.
So the sexy stretch was really good.
Yeah.
I told them to come wearing something that made you feel sexy.
Right.
So whatever that looks like for you. I had the sexy music playing.
Yeah.
The lights dim low.
Ooh.
The little vibes going on.
Yes.
And we just got our stretch on, felt real sexy. We did some movements that made us feel sexy.
So is this coming back, or is this happening? Because I feel like I need to join.
So I want to bring it back in the summer. I just got to look at the calendar and plan everything out. And
that's excellent. I mean, I feel as though I definitely don't stretch enough. And it's so important, especially as you get older in age. Agility is just not a thing anymore, and it's super important for you. So to be able to do it in a sexy way would definitely be more attractive to someone like me than to just be
right. Like, just throwing it up there. Yeah. Come get your sexy on.
So totally. So definitely keep us, informed about when you have those dates for the sexy dance.
Yes.
But there's other things that you do, Miss Parris. Just like, Black women in true form, just doing amazing things. You also have a shoe line. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So the shoes that I designed, which are right here, I created them under my Sexy She brand. So I love heels. Those are one of the things that I like to put on when I'm feeling sexy, if I want to feel a little extra oomph, like even in the house.
Ditto.
I'll put some heels on. I'll be cooking with some heels, girl, just walking around the house with my heels and my long robe that drags the ground, the vibes. You got to create the vibe. Got to create the vibes.
I just had a whole visual, girl. Okay, go ahead.
So specifically, I wanted them to not only be sexy, but they have to be comfortable.
Yes.
Okay, because it's nothing worse.
That's not often you find that combination.
It's not often. It's nothing worse than wearing your sexy heels, you're out, and then now you walking funny because your feet hurt.
Or worse, have to take them off because that's not cute.
And I don't like seeing that.
No,
women
it's
walking
not
down the street
cute.
barefoot. Keep your shoes on, even if you just.
I'd rather see you rocking from side to side.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what I say. So to help y'all out with all of that, so you don't have to rock side to side, I made a sexy pair of heels.
Yeah.
That have extra cushion under the heel, the 2 pressure points, and under the ball of the foot.
I tried them on, guys. You can walk for days in these shoes. They're super comfortable.
I had one of my customers. She did a conference, so she's standing up on her feet for the entire conference, 8 hours. She said her feet felt so good.
Yeah.
So in the front, we have real mink fur in the front, and then we have vegan leather crocodile print in the back with the brand right here. and they're super comfortable, super sexy.
And where can they shop this item?
So they can find them on my website, shopsexyshe.com.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And then I see you also have some other things on the table. Can you tell us a
Yes.
little bit about what this is we're looking at right here?
Yes. So this is a healing journal, and this one is near and dear to me. I created this journal from my brain.
Yeah.
So I knew it was something that I wanted to do, and I just wrote it out. I had my own journal. I journal a lot.
Okay.
So I had my own journal, and I wrote out all of the things that I wanted in this journal. Then I typed it out, printed it out, gave it to my mom to review, look it over. She gave me some suggestions, and then I wrote it again. This is like 3 years in the work.
Oh, wow.
So
it's beautiful.
Thank you. So it is a large book, a large journal, and each page has a prompt on it. And it's just to help you if you are going along on your healing journey.
Right.
You're trying to find some focus, some structure.
May I?
Yep. You're trying to find some focus, some structure, and just like where to go.
Yeah.
Usually when people are healing, they're looking for something to help guide them, a little bit of guidance. So this will help get you focused on that journey.
Yeah, totally. You know, a lot of the a lot of people don't know how to journal. They think there's like a whole method to the madness. There really isn't. It's like whatever feel comfortable for you. But just to get into the space of just writing blankly, you know, is a little bit hard for people to get started. So I did have an opportunity before we came on to kind of take a look at your journal. And for someone like me who don't journal often, that's just getting into it, I find that it's super helpful in just that in the notes on the side. For example, well, first of all, she has like these amazing notes that's at the bottom for each chapter that talks about I am amazing.
Yep. Each page has a different affirmation.
Has a different affirmation.
Yeah.
I am resilient. I am dependable. I am loved. So I love that. And then off to the side for each page, for the page that says I am loved, it says list 3 people who love you. And I love that. And then you can talk about all the reasons why. And I think just being able to, on a daily basis, sort of like appreciate those small things in your life is great. And then it guides you through, you know, daily as to what to write if you have nothing to write on. So this one
if
is
you're not sure,
list 3 people who depend on you. I mean, these are daily. I mean, you can tell that you really took some time in your healing process to think about what matters the most, because all of those things are things that you should be reflecting on and perhaps daily.
And it could feel like little things, but they're really big things.
Yes.
Because when you have gratitude and you're just thinking about things in a positive perspective, you're looking at things through loving eyes, you feel the world and you see the world so differently.
Absolutely.
Than if you're like harping on what I don't have, the lack,
the negatives,
right.
Which is so easy to just focus on the things that you don't have as opposed to the things that you have, and that makes all the difference.
Yep.
And abundance doesn't come to you when you're coming from a place of lack. So we know that that's super important.
Exactly. And when I first came out with it, I did a 30-day journaling challenge. So when you get the journal, you don't only get the journal, you get the link to the Facebook group that is still active, and I have videos attached with it. So I talk you through it. I talk you through each day, and it doesn't go specifically in the order of the journal.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you can move around, and obviously you're right. Your customers have the freedom to jump around too as they seem fit, whatever day resonate for them. That's awesome. And so you have the journal, and then what are these other things that we have here?
So these are also my cards, but they're not just cards that have the website on the back. I have positive affirmations. Affirmations are so important because just like we talked about staying in the positivity and not being in negative, affirmations is a simple way to just bring you back.
Yeah.
So for the I Am She the brand, the affirmations that I have on here are I am amazing, I am powerful, I am confident, I am worthy, I am resilient, I am beautiful, I am empowered, I am enough, I am she is me. And these are things that you can just say to yourself. You look in the mirror so that you feel it. And even if it doesn't feel right or feels awkward in the beginning, just saying it out and you hearing it is so important. And it has such a positive impact on you.
Is that how you remain positive, or What are your strategies that you use on a daily basis?
So journaling really helps me because I ruminate a lot. I'm in my head a lot. So getting things out.
I can see why you're running 10 businesses, lady.
I gotta get it out.
Right.
Because I have so many ideas. I feel
Right.
like I'm a creative person.
Right.
And I have dance is my main passion, but I have other passions.
Right. Well, you're creative. You're creative.
Yeah.
Period.
So I gotta get it out. I went to a dance performance on Thursday, and the lady who was there, who was one of the choreographers, she was saying how her mom told her, she said, this gift is not just for you. You have to share it with the world.
To.
And it's so important.
Yeah.
I just feel like God gives us talents, he gives us gifts, and if you just keep it,
that's finding
what's
the
the point?
purpose in it all, right? It's connecting the passions to purpose. And, the purpose portion of it is the giving of it. It's not being selfish with your talent, because the whole point is to impart your talent so people can benefit from the talents that God gave you.
Exactly.
Totally. I love that.
Exactly.
And what else? Because I know you have other things up your sleeve, lady. So like, what else are you doing?
So in addition to the 2 brands here, I do also like to thrift. So with that
I love
passion,
thrifting too.
Yeah, girl, my shoes are thrifted, honey.
I love a woman on a budget.
Okay.
Skin look good on a budget. Isn't that like the most satisfying thing?
Yes.
I just
That
kind
makes
of
it
not to like
exciting.
stop. I had an event last week where I hosted my my aunt's 50th birthday party, and it was like amazing to do because she's like one of my favorite aunts in this, in person in this world. But my dress that I wore that looked so freaking amazing, it was $7.99.
See, that's the
$7.99,
Okay.
and I rocked it. And I love stuff, love thrifting.
And when people are like, "Oh, you look good," you like, "Girl, it was only $7.99."
I don't gatekeep. I tell them all the time, like $8.
That's how I am. I'm
Yes.
like, girl, you won't even believe how cheap it is.
Because it should not cost that much to look good at all.
Okay,
Right?
and it doesn't have to if you know what you're doing.
If you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I have an online vintage thrift shop. It's called Chic Frugality. So, and just in the name, you can be chic.
Chic frugality. I love
be
that.
frugal.
I love that. Chic frugality.
Yeah.
So this is your online store.
Yes.
How do they find you? What is a website?
So it's Chic Frugality. So that's spelled CHICFRUGALITY. And it's on Store Envy. So .storeenvy.com.
Love it.
Yeah. That was actually my very first business.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many businesses are you up to now?
I think just 4.
Okay.
I think just 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have the thrift,
Yes.
and then I heard talks that you were about to start a nonprofit.
I am.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. So the way it started, I was just a middle school dance teacher. And in being a teacher, you think of all the things that you needed when you were a student.
Right.
So, and then also being a young girl. So I'm the dance teacher. I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring spray deodorant because they're going to need to freshen up. I'm going to bring wipes so that they can freshen up. Soap, pads for the girls, wipes, change your underwear, change your leggings, all these things. So I just brought it. And then I'm at school and I'm noticing the girls are coming in. They're using the pads so frequently. They're using it more often than I thought.
Right.
And the school, the nurse had pads, but they weren't the quality pads.
Right.
I was bringing, I'm very big on using natural products. So
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
using natural pads. I'm telling the girls about the natural pads, this, that, and the third. I promote herbs and the natural way to everybody.
Yes.
They would have cramps and I'm like, it's because you using the pads that got bleaching and this. And I said, you don't need to take pills. You need to take red raspberry
herb.
leaf. Yeah, take this herb, red raspberry leaf, which is, let me look in the camera. Y'all need to get y'all some red raspberry leaf. All my ladies, it's going to take away your period cramps. It's going to make your cycle lighter because it strengthens your endometrium walls. Okay.
What does it say again? One more time for those in the back.
Red raspberry leaf.
There you go. Where do they find that?
The vitamin shop.
Okay. Is it
Vitamin
grounded
shop.
or is it actually leaf form?
So it looks like it's chopped up leaves in a clear pill.
And they steep it like tea?
No, you could just swallow it. But they do have tea bags too.
Okay.
But I just take my pills.
Okay.
Yeah. But when it's a whole, yeah.
We'll do another one.
Yeah, if somebody wants to know, I can tell you how to do it. You can find me. I can give you the tea on how to do that.
Right.
But yeah, so I tell my girls all this stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tell your mom. Let me tell your mom how to use this. Boom, boom, boom. It worked for them.
Yeah.
They're like, Miss Jess, I noticed when I'm using these pads, my period's lighter. I don't have cramps that much. So one day, I'm at my aunt's house. We were just talking, and I'm like, how come the nurses always have the worst pads? Like, why the schools don't have the good pads? I don't understand what's going on. And it was the same from when I was in school.
Yeah.
They got those
big
bulky,
hospital pads.
and they don't hold nothing. Got that big old
big
pad.
for nothing, and everything slide out the side.
Big old pad up your butt, and it ain't even doing nothing.
Right.
So it was like a light bulb went off, and I was like, bing. Somebody need to get these pads into these schools. Why? So that they don't have to pay for them, because obviously money is the issue.
Right.
And I said, I'm going to do it.
Right.
So I started doing research. I know a few principals called them. I said, hey, your nurses got pads, blah, blah, blah. What type of pads? She's like, oh, girl, it's this. We don't really have the budget. That's why they always buy the lower brand. So I started calling the nurses. It's the same thing throughout the schools in Westchester that I called.
Yeah.
So I said, if you were able to be provided with higher quality pads for free, would your school be able to accept it?
Right.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Boop. I call my tax guy. Hey, I want to do a nonprofit. What's my steps? What do I need to do?
Mm-hmm.
Boom, boom, boom. Talk to my mom. Mom, hey, if I start a nonprofit, would you be able to help me? Yes. Boom, 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 boom. Did what I need to do for the back end. And now it's officially set up, but I'm still working towards getting everything set up. My goal is to get everything started so that I can have it up and running by this school year that's coming up.
Oh, wow.
So it's brand new. It's a fresh idea.
And so how are you going to go about getting these sponsors?
So
or is it donation? Is it grants? Like, what is the plan?
So I'm probably going to need all of those things. I got my first donation through somebody who I met at my job. And then because I've been working with so many students and I've worked with so many different schools through dance.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of the staff. So I have a connection with the schools.
Yeah.
So once in the beginning, I'm going to get donations and then take them to the schools. It'll be me in the beginning.
Yeah.
As you know, when you start something new, it's you doing the grind
Totally.
work.
Yeah.
So it'll be donations. I'm hoping to get grants, however it's going to come in.
I love it. Look at this woman. Okay. My next question is, where do you find the time?
Girl, I don't know. I don't know where I find the time.
Like, where do you find the time? Like, you're doing all of this. I mean, just to even monitor like an online store and shipping and orders. How do you find time to even make the stuff and the journal and the dance classes? Girl,
yeah.
How many hours are in your day?
All of them. So I got to use every minute all the time.
Yeah.
When I was working at the community center full time, I worked later in the evening, and I'm a night owl. Mm-hmm. So I could be up till 2, 3 in the morning. Because when I was working on getting my shoes done, they were getting made in China.
Right.
So they're up, I'm up, we messaging back and forth. It was a little easier. When I started teaching at the school, I had to switch my hours because now I had to wake up at 5 in the morning. And it was a switch.
Yeah.
So I had to literally grab a journal and write down, okay, this is the time I'm waking up. This is the time I need to go to bed so I can actually have enough energy to wake up at this time. How do I fit in working out? How do I fit in working on this? How do I fit in making my videos so I can make promo?
And all I hear is intentionality. Yeah, all this intentionality that you have to take in order to plan your life.
Right.
Because all these things are super important to you. So you have to plan for them. Even plan your self-care.
Yeah.
So how do you go about planning your self-care?
Girl, I took a day. I said one day because I was just like going. And when I was going, things were getting done and I didn't have to really plan it out. I didn't have to like write it out and plan it out. I had it in my head. And I had to also learn, I got to get some things out of my head because I would be so forgetful. I would be zoning out, this, that, and the third, which I'm still working on all of that.
Where have you been?
Working.
Like,
That's where I've
seriously.
been working. trying to figure it out. Trying to figure it all out. So when I switched to working at the school and woke up early, it was like, it felt like things were getting out of control.
Yes.
So I said, all right, I got to stop.
Right.
And write it down.
Right.
So now I got a bedtime for myself. I took a day, just one day, I said, you know what? No, this is my day. I'm not talking to anybody on the outside world. I don't care who you are. I'm going to do what I want to do on this day. And that's just what I did.
Do you have kids?
No kids.
Okay, because I
don't know how I would do it with kids.
I'm like, how do you do this?
I don't know. My kids I teach, those my babies. Those my babies, those my kids.
Because that's like my fantasy. Like, to just get up and do whatever I want and nobody talks to me.
Get up and go.
Fantasize.
Nope. And I always say, like, Randy, when I'm waking up, I'm like, dang, imagine if I had to wake up and somebody was asking me, can you make me breakfast? Can I make you? First of all, I'm probably not even about to eat. Get out of my face.
Right.
Can I make you breakfast? Get out of here. Go find some cereal. Figure it out on your own.
And you mentioned your mom a lot.
Yeah.
Can you tell us are you an only child?
No.
Okay.
So,
you mentioned your brother.
Yes. So from my mom, I grew up, it was myself and my brother. My dad, there are, I believe it's 9 of us.
What?
Yeah. On my dad's side.
On your dad's
side. I didn't know them growing up.
Okay. So for you, it's just you and your brother.
Yep.
And what's the age difference between your brother?
6 years.
Okay.
He's younger.
Okay.
I'm the first grandchild and the first child for my mom.
Because if you guys notice, like, she is checking in with mom after every decision. Like, mom, are you also available for this venture? Right? Is mom retired?
She is recently retired. Yep.
Well, it's amazing to be able to have somebody in your corner that you know you can just call, and it happens to be mom. That's amazing.
Grateful. Yes, I'm very.
What's your mom's name? Give her a shout out.
Mom, she is Deborah Charles. Deborah Charles. My friends call her Big D.
Big D.
Because she don't play.
Right. Because, I mean,
she don't mess around.
She's the backup to your whole...
Yeah. She don't play. She ain't played since I know her. Since I met her, since day one.
Right. What is she retired from, by the way?
She is... So, first she was a paralegal. And then she was the manager of the secretaries at the law firm.
Okay.
So, yes.
So she worked for a law firm for for her career. Yep. That's awesome. I mean, do you think that any of that trickled down
on
sure. you in terms of like the scheduling and the order and the discipline?
Sure. Seeing the women get it. Her, my grandma, my aunts, that's all I saw growing up.
Right.
My cousins, that's all I saw was women getting it.
Yeah. It makes sense. I mean, you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing a million things.
I never like consciously thought about it like, oh, my mom is getting it. Oh, that's how I'm gonna be.
Right, of course.
It just happened. And when people mention it, I'm just like, oh.
Right, because that becomes your norm.
Yeah.
You lived it.
It's just, I just always feel like, I mean, I just got to do it. Like, what else am I supposed to do?
Right.
Just do nothing?
Yeah, my grandmother had 9 children and 6 of them were females. And when I tell you the women and my aunts, all so strong, all like super educated, just doing the damn thing and single. For the most part, I'm just doing the damn thing. So when you grow up kind of seeing that as like the embodiment of what a woman is and just all the things that you do, that's why, or your bare minimum just seems like so much to someone else, right?
Yeah, it's like,
because this is just all
nothing.
You know. You're
Yeah.
just doing a million things all at once. It's a black woman's reality. So, we're coming to like, the close of our talk, but I want people to want to know how to find you, how to engage with you, how to participate in all of these projects that you have, how to donate to you if they wanted to donate. Is there a way that people can donate?
Mm-hmm. So, as we spoke, I have a few brands.
Yes.
So my main page on social media is Miss Parris. It's my personal page, but within that page, all my businesses are tagged.
When you say social media, are you talking about what
on Instagram?
Instagram.
On
okay.
Instagram, yes. So it's Miss Parris with the number 3. So it's MZPARRIS and then the number 3. That's my personal page. Within that page, you can see all of the businesses, the I Am She, the brand, the Sexy She, Chic Frugality, and it's right in the bio. So that will take you to all the other pages.
Including the dancing. So if someone wanted to sign, including myself, because I'm about to like, Livy, you want to dance?
Send me a DM.
Right? Yeah, just slide in your DM.
I respond to the DMs.
Okay,
yes.
That's good to know.
Yes.
Is there anything that you wanted to leave with us in sort of like an imparting message of what you want people to know about you and your message and your brand and what is it you're trying to do and how they can, sort of be a part of that movement?
So I think the main message that I want people to know, to understand, is to really find out who you really are. And a lot of times we might not think we don't know. We think we don't know who we are, but you know, because it's inside of you. It's that voice that has been trying to call out, and you might be trying to silence it through being distracted. You might be trying to silence it through relationships. You might be trying to silence it through your vices, but you have to really sit with yourself. You have to get quiet and really listen to that voice, because we were all here for a purpose and for a reason. And if you're not in alignment with your purpose, you're not going to be happy. And why would we want to be here and not be happy?
Right.
You just want to be happy.
You just want to be happy.
So find that voice, follow that voice so that you can be happy, and you can help inspire all the people that you're supposed to be inspiring anyway.
And spread the happiness.
Yeah. That's what it's all about anyway.
That is what it's all about.
That's it.
And that is what we're going to leave you on. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of The Korean Connection with Miss Jessica Parris, who is empowering women and young girls alike to be bold and to be amazing and to find their passions and connect them to purpose. Join us next time on The Korean Connection. Bye. Thank you guys for connecting with me today. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to my channel, The Korean Connection. To connect with me, you can email me at thekoreanconnection@gmail.com. And don't forget that sometimes your passion whispers before it roars. And if you're listening closely, the next episode might be where it gets louder. Let's connect.
Push it to the